What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a new super rare Digimon that we need to be having a little bit of a look at. You see, we are in the reveal period apparently for BT-10. I, for one, am absolutely delighted about this. This is absolutely wonderful, and that means we can have a good old chat about a whole bunch of cards over the next few weeks. I adore this time in the release of a set, but let's face it, right? We all know that the super rares are the most exciting ones. That's not exactly some big secret. We like the secret rares. We haven't seen any secret rares yet. We're missing secret rares. Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our first secret rare from the set. And I should give a massive shout out to the lovely folks over at Ensan Gaming who have provided our translations here, because we've got Venusmon. And we've not seen Venusmon before, so do we have a nice little debut? Well, let's have a look, shall we? I should also say that translations are partly from the lovely folks over at digimoncards.dev. But we're not actually going to start off with the level 6, we're going to start off with the level 5 Sansamon here. And in terms of stats, we got a bog standard level 5. 7 cost to play normally, 3 cost to digivolve, 7,000 power, nothing to see here. However, what we have is that thing that used to be super rare, but is actually kind of common nowadays, where the Digimon has both a regular skill and an inheritable skill. So, in terms of a regular skill, what we've got here is, when you Digivolve, until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1. Which might shock you to learn it is the opposite of security attack +1. It means your opponent checks one fewer security card when they attack. What that basically means is that if they don't have any buffs, i.e. if they don't have security attack plus something, they will still attack, and any when attacking skills etc. will activate, but they won't actually check any security cards when they do so, which is clearly a good thing. It's, I talk a lot on this channel about trying to figure out how many attacks your opponent needs to win and how many turns that's going to take. Well, here you've just taken one attack off the board for them, and that can absolutely be the difference between a win and a loss. So this is good, ladies and gentlemen. This is rather good. And then we've got an inheritable skill when attacking once per turn. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1. So what we're basically talking about here is, well, frankly, exactly what we were talking about a moment ago. It's not some brilliant game-breaking skill that's going to reshape the competitive landscape as we know it. What it is a nice skill which is basically going to take an attack away from your opponent. And that's good. We like this. Stunning? No. Game-breaking? No. Kinda nice in the right deck? Well, yes, that seems like a very apt description. What might be the right deck? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the right deck might just be Venusmon. Now, here as we look in terms of skills, what we've got is a 13 cost to play normally, 4 cost to digivolve, 12,000 power. I mean, the classic always used to be 11-3-11, and then we ended up with 12-4-12, being pretty much as common. Now we've got 13-4-12. That's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot. The good news is we don't actually have a play skill, only an evolution skill. So even though the evolution is slightly higher than normal, it's a play skill that's a lot higher than normal, and at least that's not so bad. So what do we actually see here? Well, when you Digivolve, all of your opponent's Digimon get security attack -1 until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is a skill I absolutely adore. Now, like I've said, it doesn't stop your opponent attacking, because the reality is they can still attack, they'll still get any skills that activate when they attack, things of that nature, but it's not a million miles away from stopping your opponent attacking. Basically, what you've got is all of your opponent's Digimon can only actually check any security when, they've got security attack +1, etc. Which does then raise some interesting questions. Obviously, if you've got a blocker or two on the board, this is kind of fun, because what you can do is save your blocker for the Digimon that actually does have security attack +1 or something along those lines, and then just all the rest are nerfed anyway. But then it also is going to put your opponent in a weird situation. I mean, if they can attack, but they can't attack the security, does that mean your opponent is going to take the opportunity to just start taking out some of your Digimon? Because remember, general rule is you can either attack your opponent's Digimon or you can attack into the security. Well, if you stop them attacking into the security, attacking Digimon is basically all that's left. Does that mean that's the kind of thing they're going to start doing? Maybe. Maybe it actually is. This is a very interesting card for me, but really, the way I see it is quite simple. If your opponent is about to win the game, this is the kind of evolution skill where you're like, oh, so you've got to take out 2 security and attack for the win. You've got 3 Digimon. You think you're going to win. Oh, yeah. You know, you can't because none of them actually take out any security. Oh, you've got 7 Digimon. You're still not going to win because none of them have security. It's like their opponent's sitting there and they're thinking, right, well, I've got to attack 3 times to win, and I've got 7 Digimon and they've got 1 blocker, so there's almost no way they can stop me here. This is one of the very rare ways they actually can stop you. Hilarious for you, shall we say less hilarious for your opponent. But wait, there is another skill here as well. On your opponent's turn, any of your opponent's Digimon with a security attack skill, security attack +1, etc., etc., cannot attack this Digimon, and their when attacking and when digivolving skills cannot be activated. So you know a moment ago where I told you that your opponent can still get the skills and activate when they attack? Yeah, that might not actually be true anymore. How cool is this? I mean, for you, not for your opponent. And if you put it all together, you end up with a very powerful Digimon, which is clearly worthy of being the first super rare, which is actually coming around in this particular set. Although remember, there is such a thing as secret rares. There are 3 of them in this set we learned the other day. We will find out what they are later. As of now, we don't know, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. But this is a very, very nice Digimon indeed. The Digivolution skill is awesome, and that's what you're really going for here, because that's stopping your opponent for an entire turn pretty much doing anything they want to do. But then on your opponent's turn, they can't attack if they've got security attack, or their attacking and evolving skills cannot be activated. And that's amazing. You know, take something like the Greymon from Starter Deck 1. That is a really good card that sees a whole bunch of play because it's just a level 4 that gives you security attack +1, nothing more or less than that. Well, now all of a sudden, if your opponent's relying on that in a red deck, you're basically stopping them attacking you, and you're stopping them getting any evolving skills or attacking skills, or they've got to choose not to play it. But firstly, they might not have any other level 4s to use, and secondly, they wouldn't be putting it in a deck if they didn't want it. And of course, I told you a moment ago that if they can't attack the stack, your opponent may very well just go, oh fine, I'll attack the Digimon. Well, this skill says they at least can't attack this Digimon, and there may well be others as well. I adore this. This one is good. Oh yeah, and we've also got an option card as well, which we kind of have to look at here, because it's Venusmon, chilling with Goblimon, and a pigeon for some reason. Cool. It's a 2-cost option card. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1. Well look, I'm looking at a bit of a theme Digimon line here, right? I've clearly got a theme going on here, and to be honest with you, right? Yeah, this makes sense. It's kind of the whole point of what we're doing here. So this actually works quite nicely. This is exactly what we would have expected. This is fine. But it gets a little bit better if you're playing Venusmon, which you should be. If you control a Venusmon, this effect targets 3 of your opponent's Digimon instead. So now what you're actually doing is giving 3 of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1. It's not on the same level as Venusmon's evolution skill, because that could target 20 Digimon in theory. It targets all of them. Here it's only 3, but that could be enough. Again, if your opponent needs 5 attacks to win the game and they've got 7 Digimon, well, now all of a sudden, only 4 of them are actually useful, and now they're not winning the game. Like I've said, it depends on how many Digimon they've got out, and depends if they've got extra security attack and all of that. There's a few ifs, buts, and maybes going on here. But make no mistake about it, together, this can be pretty brutal. I mean, if you're playing Venusmon, but also having to play around with stuff like healing therapy, your opponent is going to be missing attack after attack after attack, and there is going to come a point where your opponent just can't win the game because they're constantly attacking but not able to actually check any security cards. Plus, they're losing out on all kinds of skills, and yeah, if they don't have extra security attack, then good, because it means that they're basically shot off with security attack -1. If they do have extra security attack, it means you're turning off a bunch of their skills and stopping them attacking you, which is also good. It is the first super rare coming from the new set, and might I say, I think it's a pretty worthy choice. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. I'm a fan of this, I think it's good, but I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.